She showed up for an interview, was ridiculed, humiliated, and shown the door, without knowing who she really was. The next day, the entire company saw the recording and learned who the invisible candidate was. No one expected that silence could be the biggest revelation. And when she returned, no one was laughing anymore, because now every word was too late. Don't forget to subscribe and like so you don't miss new stories. Do you have an appointment for Tenma? Yes, for the position of R&D designer. Name is Elena Ward. Are you serious? The girl at the reception desk raised an eyebrow slightly. Sorry, it's just, you're not quite like the other candidates. Is that a problem? No, just unexpected. Please proceed to the 24th floor, room 4C. Take this badge. The elevator rose slowly. Elena stood by the wall, a simple dark gray dress, a fabric bag, a thin folder in her hands. Her hair was tied up. No makeup, no jewelry, no confidence, according to others, but inside, everything was calculated. Room 4C. The receptionist nodded. Good luck. Elena walked in. There were 5 people sitting at a glass table. Everything was cold. The light, the chairs, the looks. Especially the looks. Are you Elena? Asked the woman with the perfect hairstyle. Yes. Is this resume real? Yes. It looks like it was made in Word, no photos, no logos, no GitHub links. It seemed to me that this was not the main thing. Oh, of course. What if it's us who's complicating things? The man in the blue jacket chuckled. Did we invite you? The application went through an open call. Through the website. Have you heard of things like visual brand, UX portfolio, emotional intelligence? I heard. And you still came like this? His hand slid over her folder. Paper? Inside are architecture diagrams and concepts. I worked on AI systems before they became mainstream. Where? What startup did you invest in? The guy in the hoodie interjected. Or was it from the garage, right? It's from my head. Oh my God, the woman grimaced. You don't have LinkedIn? I have knowledge. You have only holes in experience, in presentation, in understanding the industry. I came to show you the idea. Have you ever thought that ideas are no longer currency? Then I had the wrong door. But while I'm here, show us. The man in the blue jacket raised his palm sharply. Something that will convince us that you haven't wasted your time. Elena opened the folder, laid out the sheets. Black and white diagrams, lines of code, blocks. This is the core of the self-regulating architecture. It takes into account overloads. I tested it in prototypes. The reaction is in milliseconds. Is this a monolith? No, a transitional cluster. It disintegrates under pressure, but reassembles in a new form, remembering the last failure. That's absurd, the woman snorted. Do you even know who's sitting in front of you? You are the commission. We are Strain. We don't just hire. We select. We are a filter, Elena. I'm not asking to be chosen. I came to propose. And we suggest that you leave. Is this the final decision? Security. An employee in a black uniform entered from a different entrance. Don't touch her, one of the assistants said quietly. No, the woman waved her off. She needs to be escorted. Politely, but confidently. She's dangerously calm. I'm not aggressive. You are out of place. I'll leave the papers. Maybe someday. Keep it to yourself. The man in the hoodie took one of the sheets and crumpled it. This isn't Black Mirror, ma'am. This is reality. Go away, hissed Marcus, the operations manager. Before this gets too awkward. Elena gathered up what was left. She looked up. No one was looking. None of them. Thank you for your time, she said, and for reminding me what a filter looks like. And she left. In the lobby, the receptionist took a quick look. Is everything over? Yes. I hope they were correct. They were themselves. She pressed the elevator button. As the doors closed, Elena pulled a tiny camera with a burning recording dot from her inside pocket. Everything, every word, every facial expression, every humiliation, recorded, archived, done. And she already knew what would happen tomorrow. Who requests a conference broadcast after hours? Marcus ran into the conference room, buttoning his jacket. Who even has the right to call a conference without warning? It's not an internal request, Lauren said, scanning the tablet. It's the founder. Are you kidding? Silas Ward. Name, signature, private channel marked priority. Everything is according to the regulations. I thought he left. That's what everyone thought. This could be a test, or worse. He only ever does what he personally needs, Jason responded. Maybe he'll come up with the idea of dumping everything on the blockchain again. Or fire us all, Toby muttered. Quiet. The broadcast is turning on. The screen lit up. First silence. Then a face. Silas. A little older, serious, focused. Good evening, he said. I apologize for the suddenness. But something happened yesterday that won't let me wait. I don't want this advice. I don't want publicity. But there's no other choice. What is he doing? Jason whispered. Calm down, Lauren said in a strangled voice. Yesterday, a candidate came into this building, a simple woman, without a big profile, without a presentation. Her name was Elena Ward. Does anyone recognize her? Nobody answered. She went through the standard selection process via the website. She didn't call anyone. She didn't ask for any special conditions. She just came. And she went through what no one should have to go through. The image on the screen changed. A recording. Room 4C. Them, sitting at the glass table. Their faces. Their words. Unedited. What is this? Marcus began. Is this a recording? Lauren muttered. Who was filming? She came from the screen. She turned on the camera in front of the entrance. In the video, Toby was laughing. Jason was tearing up sheets of paper. Lauren was pouring coffee into her bag. Everything was word for word. No one interrupted. Everyone heard. When the recording ended, Silas's face returned. She's not just a candidate. She's a co-author of the Strain Protocol. The architect of its first stable version. And my wife. Pause. She knew you wouldn't recognize her. And you didn't recognize her. Not because she was hiding, but because you weren't looking. You didn't ask questions. You decided and cut her out of space. He stood up. He took the folder. He put it on the table. As of this moment, you are suspended, all 5 of you, without the right to reinstatement. Contracts canceled. Your accesses are disabled. Silas, wait, Marcus said. We didn't know. It was just... You knew enough to be human. We thought she was a random person. And this is your main mistake. You can't do this without a vote, Lauren breathed. I can, and I did. I didn't come back for revenge, but for order. Toby stood up. It's not fair. We didn't know who she was. If we had known, then you would behave differently? Certainly. That's why you won't represent Strain anymore. Because you would behave differently, and you should behave the same way. With everyone. The connection was interrupted. Pause. Deep. Long. He wasn't joking, Jason said. We got fired, Lauren said, as if she didn't believe it. And she, Toby began. She didn't even say a word. She didn't say. She showed, Marcus said quietly. What now? Lauren asked. Now we are outside, and she is inside. And all because of one interview? No. Marcus stood up. Because of one look, which we didn't give. The screen in the room was still on. Only now it had a screensaver. Strain, restart, quietly, with code that speaks for itself. And she was already walking along the floors, slowly, evenly, towards the hall with a new key in her pocket. It was you. Yes. Did you know how they would react? Yes. And you went anyway? Yes. Silas stood across from her in the empty room, holding her folder, the one with the blueprints, the code, the diagrams. Why didn't you tell me? His voice was quiet, almost tired. Because I needed to see how far things had gone. Not in the company, in the people. I wouldn't allow it. That's exactly why I went alone. He put the folder down on the table. It wasn't just rude, it was disgusting. It's not the first time they've done this. It's just that before, not with me. I wrote everything down, every look, every gesture. And what do you want to do with it? I already did it. She nodded, slowly walked to the window. The city below glowed steadily, without emotion. Aren't you angry? He asked. No. Why? Because anger is when you get hurt. And I just looked at what the truth looks like. But you sat there, under their words, under their laughter. And I'm still standing. He came closer, his hand lightly, like an apology, touching her shoulder. I wish you didn't have to go through this. I wish they weren't the way they turned out. We will change everything. We will not take revenge. No. We'll just show. At this time, the floors were seething. Former council members tried to log into the system. Access was revoked. Mail was disabled. Badges were not working. That's illegal, Jason said, slamming his palm down on the panel. This is the founder's order, the guard replied. We are the council. Not anymore. Where is Silas? Let him come out. He's busy. With her. With whom? With the one you didn't notice. In the other wing, Lauren was pacing the corridor. I won't let that happen. I have connections. I have contracts. You had some, someone from HR corrected her. It wasn't a violation, Toby snapped. We just didn't realize who she was. So you don't need to understand to behave like a human being? I thought it was just another weird applicant. Exactly. You were thinking. You weren't listening. And you? I'm also to blame. And I'm ashamed. Meanwhile, in the conference room, Elena sat at a long table. Opposite her were new faces. Technical directors, analysts, senior engineers. We want to understand how this was possible, one of them said. This didn't happen overnight. You just finally saw it yesterday. Don't you want to speak out? I said everything that needed to be said. When I was silent. What to do with the public part? No comment. Let the video speak. Is this your decision? This is my style. After the meeting, Silas caught up with her at the exit. Are you leaving? Yes. For how long? See you on Monday. What will you say if you are asked? I will say that they chose how to look themselves. You're not gloating? I just move on. One of them, Elliot, escaped. Let him find himself. Somewhere where people are not judged by the price of shoes. And you won't say anything at the summit? No. There is a code on stage, not me. He nodded. Thank you. For what? For not destroying it, but turning it over, quietly. I'm always like this. You're just used to forgetting. And she left. Without looking back, without quickening her pace. And down below, at the exit, the guard asked, Miss Ward, would you like us to walk you to your car? No. I'll get there myself. He looked at her. He looked at her like she was a person. Have a nice day, ma'am. He's already successful, because he's mine. You haven't opened your laptop for 3 days? No. Why? Because I don't know what I'll see there. Jason sat on the edge of the bed. His former assistant stood by the doorway, her arms crossed. They fired everyone, without the right to reinstatement, without recommendations. I know. Do you regret it at all? He remained silent. You don't even remember what exactly you said? I remember. And? I thought she just didn't fit in. I thought I was filtering. And she built the system that you praised at the conference 6 months ago. Yes. Across town, Lauren sat at a glass table. Her lawyer leafed through documents. You have been added to the register of undesirables in at least 7 companies. I'm in shock. Haven't you read the contract? It was a standard template. Not exactly. The terms and conditions written by Silas include a clause on reputational violations that harm the brand. Your case is a precedent. Are you saying I won't be able to hire anymore? I mean, you can't even apply for the job without an internal review. No one wants to risk the next Elaine Award. It was an interview. It was a public humiliation. I didn't know who she was. And if you knew, everything would have been different. That's why everything became like this. Toby was sitting in a cafe. Across from him was his younger brother. They made a meme out of you. I saw. I laughed until I realized who was sitting opposite me. Yes. You weren't even angry. You just supported others. I was afraid to look different. And now I look like who I am. And who are you? The one who laughed at what he himself could not have created in 100 years. On the top floor of Strain, Silas opened an internal meeting. We are all here because yesterday was the point of no return. What will happen to the reputation? Asked an engineer from the front row. We will not make excuses. We will work. And Elena? Will she join the council? She refuses. Why? Because she didn't come back here for the sake of the place, but so that it would no longer be occupied by those who don't look. Will we be able to talk to her? Only on business, and only with respect. Later in the elevator, one of the junior analysts turned to Silas. Was she always like this? Which? Quiet, but unbroken. Always. And you never thought she would come back? I knew she would leave, to come back in her own way. The next morning, Lauren tried to remove her name from search results. It was no use. Her name was everywhere. Headlines, clippings, red-bordered resumes, videos. Elena's silence had done more than 1,000 interviews. Elliot called from a new number. Do you think she knew how this would end? She knew. She just didn't stop. We all thought that the strong ones are those who speak loudly. It turns out that the strong are those who can remain silent and still win. Do you hate her? No. I'm afraid there are few like her, and we've already burned the bridge to them. At that time, Elena was sitting in the library. A regular city library, not in an office, not in the press room, just among the books. Opposite her was a girl of about 16. Excuse me, she said. Are you Elena? Yes. I watched everything. Thank you. For what? For what you showed. You don't have to shout, you don't have to fight, you don't have to break things. You can just be. This is the hardest part. And you weren't afraid? I was afraid, but I acted as if I wasn't. Will you perform somewhere? No. I'll just say what was important. That's all. The girl nodded. I want to be like you. Then don't listen when they tell you that you're not suitable. Just come in and be. And at that moment, among hundreds of pages, hundreds of names and diagrams, she understood. Justice is not in applause, but in the silence that no one interrupted. Is it really him? Yes. He's been sitting here since 8 in the morning. Sometimes he just looks at the sky. Sometimes he holds a sign. And you're sure he understands? After everything? He understands. It's just too late. Elena stood by the car. Behind the glass, the noise of the city. In front of her, the street. And a man, in a torn jacket, with a dirty bag, and a sign saying work needed. Elliot, do you want to approach him? I do. To what? To look into his eyes. Nothing more. She got out. The car remained with its headlights on. People passed by. Some recognized her, but they didn't stop her. Excuse me? Elliot looked up. Is it you? I didn't think you would ever. Look at you. I wanted to, but only when you are truly on Earth. You won. No, I just didn't fall. I didn't ask for forgiveness. I didn't suggest it. You knew how this would affect you. I knew you wouldn't stop until someone pressed pause. Could I have been different? Yes. But you chose to be like this. Is it all because of pride? No. It's all because you don't know how to see, and I know how to keep quiet. He looked down, his fingers gripping the tablet tightly. What now? Nothing. Are you going to talk about me? No. I only speak about myself, and even then, rarely. I sometimes think that back then, in the room, I was just following others. Then you are not a leader. You are an echo. She took a coin out of her pocket. A very ordinary one. No symbol. No pathos. Is this for a taxi? He breathed out. This is so you know. I'm not angry, but I remember. She placed the coin in his palm. Do you believe that I can get out? Only if you stop thinking of yourself as a victim and start being a human being. How are you? I'm not an example. I just remained myself when you tried to erase it. She turned around. You won't give an interview, will you? No. Why? Because silence speaks more accurately, especially if no one was expecting it. Later, on the sidelines of the AI summit, someone asked Silas, "Where is your wife?" Not here. Why? Because she is already everywhere. She could have become the face of the campaign. It would have been powerful. She is not a campaign. She is a code. What will you say to those who consider her actions to be revenge? I will say, if a person does not shout, does not break, does not humiliate, this is not revenge. This is the restoration of balance. In another room, a girl of about 18 was giving a talk. Ethics inside the interface. Last slide, a photograph of Elena. No caption, no text, just a shot, a woman exiting an elevator. Her face is calm, her eyes are filled with knowledge. Who is this? Asked the professor. The one who showed that you can remain yourself and not lose anything except fear. And in the evening, Elena sat on a bench. Opposite was the glass wall of the old Strain building. In the reflection was light. Silence. Do you think they'll forget? Silas asked. They do. And you? I don't forget, but I don't wear it on me. You're still silent. Because there is nothing stronger than leaving, in a straight line, without looking back. With a clean step, and she stood up. Not higher, not lower, just straight, as she should have from the very beginning.